Alrighty, I think it's about time to get ready. Let me know if you can hear me. If anybody needs more time to sort out any voice issues they're having. Huzzah! Sweet. Awesome. So for those of you who don't know, this is a meeting where it's usually an open Q&A style meeting. If anybody has any questions, we'll do our best to answer them as much as we can. But with our usual intro here, there are certain topics that we cannot discuss, such as, any sort of stuff about abuse appeals, warnings, suspensions, terminations, any outcomes or information about ongoing or past abuse reports, that kind of stuff. There might be some other topics that we can't discuss, either because we aren't allowed to share the information with you, or sharing the information would make it really easy for the bad guys to keep doing what they're doing. I do see some new faces, though some were kind of familiar. I'm assuming most of you guys are probably here about some stuff going on a forum thread that's been discussed about assessments being made to merchants and that kind of stuff. So unfortunately, there's really not much information I have to provide as far as what improvements we are doing to that process. As some of you might have seen in Patch's post, my team is not the one that does these assessments. This is a different team that does this. And to give a little more background of why these happen or how these happen, it usually happens because somebody somewhere clicks on a phishing link and, they log into it, and then their account gets compromised. And these people who compromise the accounts using this method, their goal usually is to cause as much chaos as possible. They'll continue using those compromised accounts that they took over to spam phishing links. Any Lindens that they have on their account, they often use them to gift out, or as we see, is spinning them the marketplace. So that's where this is kind of coming from there. So we are looking into improving this team's process that does these assessments to ensure that people aren't being punished for things that really essentially aren't their fault. So we hear you guys with all that. It's we totally agree that it's kind of it's a terrible thing to have happen, where you just lose out your money and your item, and you're like, what? Well, because someone clicked on a phishing link. It's that kind of thing. So we are, looking into improving this process with this team to make sure, all that stuff is all nice, and where we only end up with the one victim, the person who clicked on the phishing link, and not a bunch of people impacted because, they just happen to have a store and someone decided to go shopping on an account that they took over, and tried to use it in an unauthorized means. So with that said, we are currently giving people back their Lindens. So I'm sure some people have already noticed. I've actually been digging into this quite extensively since a little bit last week when I came into this. So we've been looking into this. I've been digging into quite a few people on the thread who have mentioned that they've been assessed recently, and seeing what happened there. And we have been returning Lindens that have been assessed from marketplace purchases. As mentioned in that thread earlier by Patch, if you have been recently assessed and you want it to be reviewed again, please submit a support ticket, but please send it through the issue type marketplace in general marketplace issues. I think that's the name of it. One of those. But make sure it's a marketplace ticket. That way it goes to my team specifically. If you send it through any other means, it might end up going to the team that is doing the assessments, and they're just doing what they're told with their own processes and stuff. So they might end up giving you, denying you, but that's just, their normal protocol right now. Let's see, we have a question about filming. In general, there's not much we can do if someone chooses to film something. I'm sure people quite often film these user groups just because they want some sort of record. So there's not really much we can do to prevent someone from doing that. Now, if they are using footage and ways to be harassing, then perhaps. But yeah, let's see. Scroll up and see. Also, I think I might have mentioned in chat, if you guys have any questions and aren't comfortable talking in voice, feel free to type it. it's just, the voice is mostly just for me to talk to you guys. And if you guys have any translation issues, I can try and see if I can type something in. True, true. Yeah, there's also the concern about people discuss delicate things, but if you're discussing things that you don't really want a lot of people to know about, you probably don't want to talk about it in like an open meeting like this. If there's something a little bit more private you want to talk about but don't want to talk about in the group, you could just send me a private message, and that way we can chat privately about things if you have like an issue that you don't want to bring up to a group of a bunch of people. Let me scroll up to make sure I didn't miss anything. Let's see. Yeah, right now I don't have any information about a policy change. It's not really my say in there, but I am kind of putting my 2 cents in there and all that fun stuff. Considering that I used to do the work with the fraud team years and years ago, so I have a little bit of experience, but I don't really know about their current process and policies. But there's going to be lots of discussion. There have been lots of discussions over the past few days and continue. So we can make sure that we're moving forward. Make sure everyone's being, so no one's really being punished for stuff that they really shouldn't be. Otherwise it's kind of silly. So we definitely have your the best intentions here going forward, and we don't want to, tick anybody off that doesn't need to be over something that's just, we can just discuss with a policy change and whatnot. But yeah, going forward, if you guys do continue to see any assessments going on, just feel free to submit a support case so we can review it through submitting as a marketplace case. That way it makes sure we can get to it and see it. Let's see. That's a pretty good question there. So unfortunately, there's really not much we can offer right now. But the way this is happening, the accounts are being like, for all intents and purposes, these transactions, they happen like any other legit transaction. Someone goes on the marketplace, they clicks on a thing, they buy it, and transaction's done. But the only difference is that the person who's using the account isn't the person who actually owns the account, because they got it because someone clicked on a phishing link, or they guessed their password, or that kind of thing. Usually it's phishing links. So it's really tricky to try and place even more safeguards on that doesn't negatively impact actual normal customers. So I think it's mostly going to be kind of probably boils down to discussing with that team to adjust their policy on how they go forward with assessing these things, that kind of stuff. And unfortunately, we can't really give you any information about anybody's specific account. And Torque, if you're asking if, say, someone got their account compromised, you know, and somehow money gets taken somewhere, whatnot. It's trying to think. I just got back from lunch, so I'm in like lunch coma brain, so I apologize in advance. Uh, yeah, most of the time with like people getting money taken from their account, or like Linden dollars taken from their account, really. If it doesn't involve someone actually getting access to their account through some way, usually it's like a debit permission issue, like a pickpocket thing. Otherwise, if you have stuff that's going missing from your account, it's likely because, someone has access to your account, either because you're sharing your account, someone knows your password, you clicked on a phishing link, you use the same email and password for everything, that's really easy to find, that kind of stuff. Looks like we have another question about, let's see, if you have a friend or friends that have been suspended or terminated, that kind of thing, or even warned, they have any questions, they can file an abuse appeal, and that'll allow my team to go and take a closer look at their particular case and see what's going on there. Let's see. Though we do take into account account age when we're looking at some stuff. It's not like a big indicative like telltale like, yes, this person is totally bad because maybe they've only been around for 2 days, but sometimes that's not the case at all. It's an interesting bit of information, but it doesn't really mean anything on its own. And I think we also have a question about what constitutes griefing. Some people have different opinions of what is griefing. Sometimes it's just something kind of annoying, or it's something that's definitely impeding people's, ability to enjoy Second Life. It really depends on what people are doing and how they're doing it. But, if you're in the example you're bringing up, huge, growing, glowing prims, they could be growing too. Prims that are just, definitely there to disrupt people's enjoyment of the region. You could definitely report it and we'll take a look. Let's see. We also had a question about what happens if your account is compromised and they do stuff on your account while it's compromised. I can't really speak for it because it's not my team. But in the past, when I have done similar work, as long as we can prove that whatever happened during the time they're compromised, that's fine. I've actually we see this all the time where, people will use a compromised account to go and grief these huge, mega prims. And they're pretty easily identifiable. It's like, oh yeah, I bet you this person's account is compromised. We'll send that to the fraud team so they get it all sorted out and we do the cleanup. But in general, it's just should be a simple secure and release. Let's see what else we got here. Do see quite a bit about two-factor authentication. Unfortunately, also not my call. No information on that. I would love for it to be a thing, but it's not my expertise there. I do see some stuff about copybotting. That's also not quite a thing my team handles. More of a copybotting. Jesus, I need more coffee. Tends to fall into the DMCA kind of territory, which is what our legal team and our IP team handles. My team doesn't directly handle that stuff. So if you have any concerns about DMCA things that might have been filed against you, or you maybe filed one, that kind of stuff, you'll definitely want to contact our IP team for that stuff. I'll get a question of suspected hijacked accounts. Yes, those do get handled. Sometimes we end up with their reports and we'll do like a general little look through to make sure, because we'll handle account sharing, so we check to see if someone's just sharing their account with somebody. But if we have any reason to believe that the account might have been compromised, we escalate straight up to the fraud team so they can investigate further. No, you don't have to be premium to file an AR. You do not get responses back from abuse reports. There are way too many for us to even do that with. You'll just get an email that lets you know that we have received it and we'll look into it, that kind of stuff. But premier or not, we'll look into any and every AR that we get. And Tristan, we might have some answers for those questions, but like I mentioned earlier, my team is not the one that does the assessments. But we are going to be assisting people with this issue with anybody who's been recently assessed. So I probably have some information, but not a lot. So we try. And we do not handle land, depending on what kind of land you're talking about. You probably have to go to another team. If it's like mainland stuff, you definitely want to go to the land ops team. If you're talking about maybe private estate kind of stuff, maybe if you're looking for purchasing one or any questions about that, you can go bug Tommy. That's his team. I think they also, you guys, yeah, they have their, actually, let me just, oh, that's not what I want. I have a whole list of user groups for you guys. Unless someone gets to it before me, which is always possible. There you go. So there's a whole list of other user groups that go on. So if there's one in there that interests you or covers a topic that interests you, feel free to drop in there. If you're seeing any like super egregious encroachment on either your land or our land, you could definitely file an abuse report and we'll check it out. But if it's like, so you can still file an abuse report on this, really. If it's like our objects that are encroaching on our stuff or just weirdly placed and or just in someone's house, you can either file an abuse report or submit a support case. Either one will try and get it to the right people. Yeah, that would probably be the best way to do it. It's being a pain. I'm not sure on that one, Lucy, if an account is on hold and is getting IM to email and replying remotely. I don't really know. I would think not, but then again, I'm always surprised. So, I'm not too sure on that one, to be honest. Let's see, reading a bit more. Let's see, we get a what communities should be looking out for. At least if you're talking about as far as definitely keep an eye out for phishing links. You know, they're usually fake marketplace links. They're usually really obvious because they've kind of run out of ideas. Like they're really bad, like so bad. Most of the time, it's not even spelled correctly. It doesn't even have Second Life in the name. There's usually something at the end that's like Alter Vista or something. So definitely be on the lookout for that. I know some people get um, a little too just autopiloty and they see a link because it's usually accompanied by like, hey, here's a sale here, get this item here, um, kind of thing. They like to pop them into group chats or just local, just really anywhere just to try and get the most impact. So definitely be careful of that. You should always, always be very careful of what you click on the internet in general. So really just safe internet practices are what we like to encourage, but that's really is what's going to help people the most with avoiding that stuff. So yeah, definitely watch out for that. Yeah, practice safe clicking, definitely. Stuff like that. Definitely keep an eye out for. And sometimes we get people that are like, I suddenly got like a crap ton of Lindens, and I don't know where it came from. You can always submit a ticket and be like, Sometimes instead of doing marketplace purchases, they'll actually gift Lindens to other people, um, just buttholes. So, but those are usually pretty easy for us to look into, or not really us, but other people. But it's usually pretty easy to look into, anyways. Um, so that kind of stuff. We always advise if you have been gifted Lindens and you don't really know where they came from and all that stuff, you could give it back, or you can just gift it to Governor Linden. Miss that'll keep it in a safe place, and then if we need to, we can just get it back from there. All right, so we got about 30 minutes left. So if anybody has any other questions, um, oh, did I miss one for you, Tristan? Let me see. I believe your question is if there's an ability to toggle gifting on and off for a specific item or just in general for your store. Is that correct? Or gifting to a specific person? Is that what your question is? All right, yeah. That's what I was trying to get at. I don't know if it's not really a thing right now. It could. I can probably bring it up and see if that's something that we can even do. But it's definitely an interesting suggestion. I have seen quite a few interesting suggestions on that thread. So um, I think right now, I think the current thing you can. Oh, is it? Sweet. Um, I think right now the most control you can get as far as being as close to that as, kind of blocking people from, using your store. Um, but yeah. Kitten, are you asking if you can contact on behalf of somebody else who is banned? No, we can only speak with the person who owns the account. This is for security and privacy reasons. We cannot discuss an account with somebody who does not own the account. So if someone who has been banned, warned, suspended, any sort of that stuff, and if it's been done by my team and, it's a governance terms of service kind of violation and not a fraud thing, we'll review it and see what we can do. And you can definitely relist if you want to. If you don't feel comfortable relisting, that's up to you. That's completely your choice. If you do get assessed in the future, definitely you can contact us again by using the same, ticket type. Make sure you submit as a marketplace ticket, and we will take a look from there until we can sort out, some policy improvements with this other team. Yes, if you're looking to get in contact with myself or my team specifically, you need to submit us about assessments particularly. Um, so if you are a merchant and you're getting assessed because someone purchased something from your store, then you get assessed from it. You can submit a marketplace case through the issue type marketplace and then general marketplace issues, and they'll ensure it gets to my team and not another team that might give you other responses. Yep, and I've seen that, and I definitely understand that frustration where you're getting told one thing and then I swoop in. I'm like, hey, here's your stuff. But that team is also following what their current procedures and policies are right now. So those people who are replying to, they're just being, following what they are, being told. So it's not entirely, I wouldn't really get too upset at them. They're just doing what they've been told. So our goal is to discuss with that team so that they're, better guided to assist properly. You're assuming I still have eyelashes. But yeah, we definitely understand the frustration, and we feel it on our end too. So we definitely understand. Of course, always happy to help. All right, hope you have a good one. Let's see if I skipped anything else. I don't think there's been anything new. So if anybody else has anything else they want to ask or discuss, feel free. We still got some time. I have no clue about subdeeding mainland parcels. That's not my realm. I don't deal with any sort of mainland unless someone's mainland's been griefed and then I clean up. That would definitely be a land ops question there. If you do have any feedback or suggestions, you can definitely drop them here. Though we are keeping an eye on the forum thread, so we've likely skimmed over them. Unfortunately, I can't really give you any. If you do have any feedback or suggestions, I can't really be like, yes, that's definitely going to happen, because that's not my call. There's all kinds of other factors involved. Definitely interesting to know. Oh yeah, I saw that suggestion area. Unfortunately, I have no information, but I do appreciate the suggestion. It's definitely interesting.
Kristin, a concierge involved in this support as well?
As far as with the assessments and us reviewing them, is that your question?
Yeah.
Currently, no. It's just my team right now, mostly me. Going through all this, but myself and my team have been digging through this.
You pulled a short straw or something?
I don't know. It probably has to do with the fact that my team used to handle these kind of things to start with. So we kind of have a little bit of background knowledge on how we used to handle these and that kind of stuff. So we're a little bit more equipped to uh, dig more into these. And I happen to have some time. So I'm definitely a someone who usually gets pulled in to be like, hey, dig. I'm like, okay, I'm digging. Yep, and we did get all the marketplace tickets. No other team gets marketplace tickets, so. We do not get cake. Yeah, when you buy your own. Oh man, you just reminded me. I've got like 4 boxes of Girl Scout cookies. I'm so excited. Heck yeah, I got Thin Mints. Thin Mints and Samoas. amazing. I really don't mind, really care for sweets too much, but I will throw down on some Thin Mints and Samoas. I cannot confirm nor deny that Premium Plus will get ponies. No, I actually have no information to share on that. So yeah, that would probably be that. This group is mostly geared towards. Most people are really interested about abuse related things and how to handle harassment and grieving and learning about abuse reports. Sometimes questions about marketplace stuff, but some of that ends up getting tied in with the web user group because we just do the support kind of stuff and dealing with the flags. So yeah. But any information about Premium Plus or any premium changes or any kind of fun stuff like that usually ends up getting blogged up on the community page. So keep an eye out for more to come. Yeah, once any information on that is ready to roll out for you guys, it'll end up being blogged and all that stuff, and hopefully you will like it. That's all we can hope. We just put stuff out there. We're like, I hope you like it. Please, please, I hope you like it. So, I keep on doing arm gestures, and I realize nobody can see it. So glad my window's closed. All right, well, we got about 15 more minutes. Anybody else has any questions and such? Adam, what is your question? So if you're asking about governance accounts that you see, like, a few people here, governance 7 and 18, we use these accounts primarily for kind of a layer of protection, the kind of things that we do. Let's see. Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. So the governance accounts that you see, those are actual Lindens. These are accounts that we use separate from our usual Linden accounts. When we go in world to investigate griefing or any kind of abuse reports, so people don't try to target someone specifically and harass that person, since we do also do abuse appeals and support tickets and that kind of stuff. So it's kind of just a layer of protection for us. That way someone doesn't go, this, governance is this Linden, so I'm gonna like badger them on their Linden account and submit like terrible, terrible support cases on top of the other normal terrible, terrible support cases we get with people saying the loveliest things to us. So that's just really what that is. So yes, if you see any governance Lindens around, we are indeed Lindens. And they're not StarTech, no. StarTech is all related to the fraud team. As far as Star Trek accounts popping in world, I have no clue. As far as I know, there's not really a reason for it, but again, it's not my team, so I don't know exactly what all they do and what they do currently. You'll normally see them, Star Trek agents. You'll normally see them if you're contacting our fraud team for anything. They do a lot of the triage and basic kind of work on their end. I suppose they're technically not quite sure what their official title would be, but if you see that name, that's what they are. Let's see, we have a question about wanting to relist their gotchas. Yeah, we did cover this briefly. If you guys want to, that's completely your choice, just like it's your choice if you want to delist them. So if you feel comfortable relisting them, you're more than welcome. That'd be great. And if you do get assessed in the future and you want a second look at it, you can definitely contact us again by submitting a marketplace case. And we'll take a look from there while we're, trying to work out any kind of policy changes with this team. No worries. It's all good. I'm not really sure on that. In general, we try to be very careful when we are, touching an account and, taking Linden's off and all that stuff. But I'm not really sure if this is the first time it's happened. I mean, this company's been around for a while, so who knows? Yeah, we're just trying to do our best to kind of correct, things that seem to have gone astray a little bit and kind of, lost the focus of what we're here for, and that's to, obviously to support and protect you guys as much as we possibly can. We can't always do it. Some things are definitely out of our control, but if there are things that we can do to make things better, we definitely want to try. So we definitely try. So at this time, we're just returning the Lindens. We're probably not going to be able to get you the items back, but we can at least make sure that people are getting the Lindens back for that transaction. So, Yeah, so with the Lindens being returned, it's kind of, instead of you losing out on the Lindens and the item, now it's just like, a normal transaction took place. So you don't have the item anymore because you have the Lindens now. So in most cases, whenever, say someone has like, linens that have been used on their account after they've been compromised and it's been sent out, we try to make every effort to recover what we can to make things better for that person, but there's always going to be stuff that's not recoverable. So that's kind of what we're considering, these marketplace transactions are, they're not recoverable for some people, but as far as ATO, but right now we're not. All we're doing right now is just giving lindens back to the merchants that have been assessed. So that's as far as we're going right now. But we're going to see what else we can do to improve upon this. Ebay is actually very, very busy, so chances are if you are sending stuff to him, you might not get a reply back or at all. He may see it, but he's very, very, very busy, and he gets a lot of stuff from a lot of people. So he's not really the best person to go to about feedback about certain things, or if you're looking for support or answers on things. That's why we have, support tickets, we have the forums, we've got, these user group meetings, we have various ways for people to communicate with us and with other people, that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's also, it's always a kind of a terrifying fact of, just of the internet. Like anything that you have on the internet, if you're not careful, it can just, like with a snap, it can get just ruined. you know, um, so that's why we always, encourage, internet safety, just basic internet safety, and keeping yourself as secure as possible. So you don't, fall for, phishing links or other stuff like that. So it's good that you changed your password real quick. Some people aren't too quick. I've seen some where they click and then it's just panic, but usually they end up not getting it. But yeah, definitely change your passwords often. That's also a thing. Change them often. Don't use simple stuff. Try not daisy chain them. There's plenty of like password. What are they called? Vaults kind of thing that kind of help password managers kind of stuff. So if you have like a bunch of passwords everywhere, there's password managers to help you kind of keep that organized and stuff like that. Yeah, definitely check your URLs. Be careful of those. Hey, here's the superhero name. Just put in the street you grew up on and your mother's maiden name, and be careful of that. That's that's definitely like prime social engineering tactic right there. Just be safe. Oh man, just Superman? Didn't even put like a 3 in there, an asterisk, something. Ugh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the same code on my luggage. At least people got the reference. Sometimes I make that joke and I just get blank stares, and then I'm very disappointed and sad. You're welcome, Zarbeth, if that's how you pronounce your name. I apologize if not, so hope you have a good one. And the question about chasing down items, that is also a very good question that I do not have an answer to, because my team does not directly handle that kind of stuff. They do not have an email, but they do have their own support ticket thing. They also have a phone number you can call, that kind of stuff. Should Most of it should be under most of the ticket types. So if you have like any sort of fraud-related concern, there are some ticket types that will get you to that team, and all that stuff. And no, they do not have a user group meeting. And let me see your question here, Doctor. I'm really sorry you're having that issue. Unfortunately, I can't really speak to any case-specific issues. I don't really know the history behind your stuff, but I do understand the frustration there, especially with any issues that you might have. And, you know, especially for my team and most of the other support teams that I work with, we always strive to, you know, to treat our customers with some, you know, respect and be mindful of any issues that, you know, that they may have. We do understand that there are quite a few people who use Second Life that have various medical issues. So, you know, we don't, we try to accommodate as much as possible. But there are some things that we do where we do have to verify for security, or there might be some other weird processes and stuff. They're not meant to be rude or to, you know, demean you in any way. There just might be some specific process that we have to do for security and policy reasons. That's just me guessing and spitballing about what could have been the thing, but we definitely we do try to be very mindful of stuff. So I do appreciate that feedback. All right. Well, it looks like our time is up for today. So thank you again for everybody for coming. I will be updating the user group page for whenever the next day may be. So if there are any, and all right, this time we actually had things quite to talk about. Very lively one. So I'll be updating this page for when the next meeting date is. If there's any exceptions or anything going on, it'll be dropped in there as well. It's usually dependent on my availability. And as usual, if you guys ever have any questions about things that, you know, can't quite wait until the next meeting, you're more than welcome to reach out to me privately by just sending me a message. I'll get to it as soon as I can. I might not be able to you know, give you specific answers or anything, but I'll do my best to, you know, at least guide you to where you can get assistance. But yeah, with that said, I hope you guys have an awesome day and or night, and I will catch you guys next time and all that fun stuff.
Goodness, an awful lot to digest. Thank you for that. Very, very informative.
Well, hopefully you found it, you know, useful. I'll see you next time.
Lightning was a word, but yeah, useful.